Hi, and welcome to another LRCC Soundbite. Today's thought kind of follows on from last week. I don't know if you watched it. If you remember, I talked about the way a child trusts adults to look after them and be there for them, whatever, and how that's the way that Jesus wants us to trust him. Well, this week, a rich young man comes to see Jesus. He's been following Jesus' teaching and recognises that Jesus is the answer to everything. He's a good Jew. He's followed Jewish law to the very best of his abilities. And now he comes and asks Jesus, what else is it that I need to do to be sure of living forever with God? Jesus liked what he saw in this young man and told him that there's only one thing left for him to do. Sell everything you've got, give the money to the poor, and join Jesus on the road. The rich young man walked away sadly, and we don't know whether he ever did as Jesus had asked. Because he was very rich, I think he was used to being very self-sufficient in his life. What he wasn't familiar with was having to trust anyone else to provide for him or look after him. He'd probably never lived in a way that meant that he didn't know where his next meal was going to come from. Jesus explained to his disciples that this whole idea of trusting isn't as easy as it looks. If we're used to being able to look after ourselves without any help from someone else, then handing that over to someone else is incredibly difficult and will be a real barrier to many people. His disciples asked him, how is it ever going to be possible for anyone to be saved through your message, Jesus? And he told them that while so many things are difficult or even impossible for people, for God, everything is possible, and there would be a way. I find this story really quite challenging for me today. After all, I've got a house, I've got a car, I can buy food every week, and as I look around this world, I realise just how much of a privilege that is. I can see places with real poverty, whether it's caused by floods or other natural disasters, or by war, displacement of people, by political situations or of other circumstances of life. I'm also aware that I don't have to look abroad to find that. It's all around us. It's here, where we live, often hidden, but there nonetheless. And I find myself challenged to respond in some way to try and change things. I've come to the conclusion that God gives us things so that we can use them for him. If I have a house, then I have somewhere to put up a gazebo on a Sunday afternoon and invite anyone on this estate to join us for a chat. Have something to eat, have something to drink. If I have time, then maybe I can go and help someone who needs some assistance. If I have money, maybe I can help out a family that literally has nothing. I think that the challenge Jesus gives us is to use what we have to make life better for someone else. Jesus gave rather a strange illustration to explain his point, and I thought I'd finish with it today. He said it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for someone rich to get into God's kingdom. Now, many have speculated on this picture, but the theory that I like is this. At the time in Jerusalem, one of the gates into the city was called the Needle Gate. As its name suggests, it was very small. And the only way for a camel to get through it was to take everything away, to take all the packages off, strip the camel right back so there was only the camel, and then it could get through. And maybe this is something of what Jesus was getting at, that we need to strip everything away that gives us our human sense of security so that we can completely trust in God. God bless you this week, and I'll see you next time.